everyone, I'm Kate Klugline, Haugen's marketing manager. Today we're chatting with Debbie Bosneff. She's one of Haugen's senior consultants. She has a strong background in HIM. She's passionate about legal health record, release of information. Haugen has just wrapped up a really neat project that we've been working on. We were contracted by an organization who decided to invest 6 months into educating a group of brand new coders. These new coders were in need of additional experience after receiving their credentials, so we were contracted to go in and help educate them a little bit further. So Debbie, why don't you go ahead and tell us a little bit about the scope of the project?
Sure, Kate. So there are a number of people in our industry that have taken courses and have earned coding credentials, but they really are struggling to find permanent jobs because they have no work experience. So we worked with the hospital system on this project, and it was a unique solution in order to develop these inexperienced coders to move them into permanent coding roles. So instead of paying contract coding costs, the organization invested 6 months into a group of inexperienced coders in order to provide them additional education, training, and regular feedback so that their quality at the end of the program was strong enough and their experience level was strong enough to let them jump in and begin production coding. Haugen Consulting Group has a robust education and training resource invested in the coding world. We were contracted in order to teach and audit the participants at this organization and provide them with lots of practice. So the first portion of the program, which was almost 4 months long, focused on expanding the education for these new coders to build on their previous knowledge. And then the next 2 months were spent having them code cases that were audited so that the accuracy could be measured and questions could be addressed before they went into production and started to impact live billing.
Wow, that's awesome. So throughout the project, what kind of solutions did you guys find that were successful?
So based on their feedback, they felt and shared with us that there were a variety of teaching methods that were valuable to them. We did group discussions. We allowed them to spend time on independent research. We have a large number of online courses, and we produced activities and gave them lots of practice. They spent dedicated training time in all 3 of the code sets, ICD-10-CM, ICD-10-PCS, and in CPT, before they were asked to choose to pursue a permanent position either as an inpatient coder or in the outpatient surgery and observation area. So their knowledge and their skills ended up being much more well-rounded than if they had only focused in one area.
So do most individuals who do coding do all 3 code sets, or that was unique to this project?
It was unique. It was a decision that we made as we went through because outpatient and observation coders don't spend time using PCS in most organizations. And similarly, inpatient-only coders don't use CPT. So these coders were able to learn about all of the code sets and practice coding in all 3 before they were asked to decide where they felt most comfortable and wanted to pursue a career.
Very cool. And then what was their feedback on the length of the project?
We asked if they felt the 6 months was sufficient, and they unanimously agreed. They said it gave them enough time and enough confidence to feel comfortable jumping into production coding. And 100% of those who graduated out of the program felt like they would recommend it to others in the future.
That's really cool. So are you familiar, do a lot of organizations do programs like this, or is this kind of a new project that you're seeing?
I think this is pretty unique. I haven't heard of a lot of organizations invest this much time and money into giving experience to coders who are credentialed but haven't worked in the workforce. Instead, they spend money on contract coding resources, which allow flexibility but are very expensive.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I hear a lot of feedback in the industry too, that that's kind of the big challenge for coders is they've gone through all of this training and then they just don't have the experience. So they're not selected first for the positions. So
and potentially this program supported that need for additional training and education because Those credentials without the 6-month program would not have prepared them all to move into production and have the accuracy rate that we wanted.
Yeah, absolutely. So then what kind of challenges did you guys face throughout the project?
This program started with 20 new coders, and that is a really big group for the amount of personal attention that we wanted to provide in the program. 20 is a lot. And we did not experience attrition during the education portion of the program. So all 20 moved into the auditing phase at the same time.
Oh.
And that was a challenge because it required a lot of auditing resources all at once. Had we staggered when people would proceed to the auditing phase, or if we had split into inpatient and outpatient coding tracks sooner, it would have been a more smooth transition into auditing. And finally, I think the challenge was that the organization set very high quality expectations by the end of the program. They expected 90% accuracy rate in order for these coders to be successful. And unfortunately, that eliminated some of the participants who just didn't proceed as quickly in the quality area, or may just not have been a good fit.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, it takes a great personality to be a coder, so absolutely. Well, then what was your favorite part about the project?
As the project manager, I really enjoyed getting to meet all of the coders and getting to compare their personalities, getting to know them, seeing that they were engaged and excited about this unique opportunity. We kind of became attached to the students, and that did make it harder once people were starting to struggle and ultimately might have proved to be unsuccessful. But I really enjoyed learning and getting to know them. It also improved my personal knowledge of things like anatomy and surgical approaches and different coding guidelines as I sat in and coordinated the different trainings and researched activities, developing exercises and things for them. So my knowledge in the coding area was expanded at the same time that I got to meet a great group of people who are really interested in this field.
Yeah, that's awesome. Well, and then why are Haugen's consultants a great fit for a project like this?
As I mentioned, Haugen has so many established training materials and knowledge available in the coding field. There are numerous online coding courses we've developed. There's pre-recorded webinars we were able to incorporate into the program. And we also ended up developing and adding tools and resources as we went through the 6 months. We were able to build live webinars and develop presentations that met the needs of the program. We have a really strong education and training team that we were able to tap for different specialty areas as needed. And my role as the PM was to make sure that their 8-hour day had a variety and enough coding to fill the time 5 days a week. The participants were paid full-time salaries from their organization, so we had to make sure that those days were full of value.
Oh, wow.
So developing that schedule, holding the pace, making sure that they were receiving what they needed was important. Haugen's PMs are comfortable with that kind of change in time management flexibility when we coordinate a project. And so that skill set helped us support those students.
Yeah, that's fabulous. And then what was something new that you learned from the project?
I think that being exposed to the different electronic health record tools and workflows that this organization used, seeing how they incorporated the encoder into our training, learning about their edit process was something I was able to learn in sitting in through these lessons. It was fun to see how the specific organization built their record in order to support the coding needs. And overall, it was great to see these people bloom into strong coders. While not everyone had the skill set to succeed, getting to know the qualities that people need in order to be a good fit in the coding world was valuable to me.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, and I would assume that'll make it easier for projects in the future too.
I think so. And even in hiring or supporting organizations as directors and coding managers, selecting good candidates, knowing those skills and qualities will help us in the future.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, great. Well, thank you for sharing about the project, Debbie. It sounds like a really fun experience and just a really unique one. So it was great to hear about it.
Thank you for asking.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, we'll check in with you on your next project. We can't wait.
Thanks.
Okay, bye-bye.